All right, welcome and thank you all for coming. My name again is Jennifer, and I'm here along with my co-host and fellow recruiter, Dequies Lanier, and we'll be presenting Graduate Student Success, the fast track to obtaining your online graduate degree from Troy webinar today. So today we're going to do an overview of online graduate programs available at Troy, specifically focusing on online learning and admission requirements and the application process. And at the end of the presentation, we will have a question session where we'll help answer any of the questions you may have. Again, feel free to enter any questions you have in the chat box as we are presenting as well. So, online learning. We call our online learning format Troy Online. Our online classes are specifically designed for the non-traditional student. So a non-traditional student is usually defined as someone who's over the age of 25 who may be trying to balance school with a full-time job, family, or military duties. And our online classes give that non-traditional student a flexible format and incredible resources, including our stellar faculty, where you can receive a quality education while completing your classwork anytime and anywhere as long as you have internet access. So it's really just designed for that flexibility. Where our start in distance learning began a long time ago. We began on military bases using VHS tapes, if you can remember those. We had lectures on the VHS tapes. And then in the 90s, we transitioned from the VHS tapes to dial-up internet. And in 2005, we elevated our online learning focus with the creation of our eCampus, which was later renamed eTroy and is now Troy Online. And is at this time we became one of the pioneers of online learning in the United States. So we've been doing this a really long time. Today, Troy Online continues to dedicate itself to provide the highest quality degree programs to students regardless of where you live. You can rest assured that your Troy degree carries the same academic reputation and honor as a degree earned through our traditional campus settings. So 49 of our current 77 online degree programs are on the graduate level. We do offer them, this kind of goes over the format, in 9-week terms throughout the year. Our terms are in August, October, January, March, and May. A lot of those you can start in any of the terms. There are a few programs that are only available to start in August or January. I think the MBA is one of those programs. We also offer small class sizes in our online graduate program, so you know you'll get that personal attention with a 14-to-1 student ratio. We also have fast track programs, which are programs that are designed to be completed in as little as 1 year, which is amazing. Most of those fast track programs are 10 courses long, so you also have a lot of cost savings with the fast track program. My.troy.edu. This is a resource we have for Troy University students, and it helps them connect with peers, find answers, gain access to helpful resources, and experience the culture of Troy from anywhere in the world. A lot of you are former students, and this kind of took the place of Trojan Cafe, if y'all are familiar with Trojan Cafe. This is a place where you can share ideas, network with potential employers, improve your study skills, win some Troy gear. And I've listed a few of the resources available on my.troy.edu, but we really use this to try to make online learning as seamless and as easy as possible for our students. So you have software and tutorials, which are all sorts of videos and guides to help you use Troy Online. Career services, we have great career services on campus, but we also have just as well a good ability to offer career services online. So that assists with resume writing, mock interviews, job posting, and internships. We all know one of the reasons we're going to graduate school usually is to advance our career in some way. So that's a really important resource. We have exam resources, so information on setting up proctor exams and testing options. A Center for Student Success, which is made just to make sure you're successful as an online student. We want to make sure you're as successful as possible. Our library is completely available online, so you can access everything in the library. We have NetTutor, which is a absolutely free tutoring service we offer our online students. So this can come in really, really useful. So they offer writing tutorials, 24/7 demand writing assistance, tips and tricks. So basically a free tutoring service. And then Grammarly, I always suggest everybody submit their papers. You will have some research papers with a graduate degree, and so you can put them in Grammarly. They could check for grammar errors, spelling errors, and also make sure that you're not going to get cited for, oh no, I'm losing the word, stealing somebody else's work. All right, Canvas. Canvas is our online system. A lot of you may be familiar with Canvas. If you're previous Troy students, it is pretty new though, so you may have used a Blackboard system before. But this is where all of your class assignments will be. So it took the place of Blackboard, and your assignments, your exams, discussion boards, class announcements. One of the really cool things you can do these days is download the app on your cell phone. There's a Troy app, and you can access Canvas from your Troy app and access your class anywhere you are. So you can always hop on those discussion boards no matter where you are, and that's really awesome. There's lots of tutorials for Canvas as well, so if you're not familiar with them, Canvas, tons of tutorials to help you with it, but it's a pretty easy to use format. Student self-service. This used to be Trojan Web Express, but it's student self-service. This is where you're going to plan and schedule your classes, enroll, view and print your class schedule. This is where you can see your records, so your unofficial transcripts, your financial aid status. So student self-service is also a great online tool that we have, and that used to be Trojan Web Express. All right, online graduate programs. These are the list of our fast track programs. So I mentioned the fast track programs earlier as programs that you can complete in as little as 1 year. So these are the 6 programs that are available online that you complete in 1 year. So that's the EDS and Instructional Support Teacher Leader Program, the Masters of Business Administration, the Masters of Criminal Justice, Masters of Science in Human Resource Management, Master of Science in Management, and the Strategic Communication Master Degree Program. And so all of these programs, just imagine you start the program in August, you'll be complete by the next August if you just take 2 classes per term. And just to kind of show you a list of what the online graduate degrees look like, these are our online graduate degrees. We've added a lot recently, so you'll see under business, we have a couple new concentrations. Master of Public Administration is also a very popular program. Our Masters in Nursing, I feel like we do have a couple of nursing people on here. So these are our master programs, and we obviously can send you a list of this if you would like, or send you specific information about any of these programs, so just let us know. These are our doctorate programs. We are really proud to start the PhD in Global Leadership. It starts in this August, and there are 5 concentrations you can choose under that PhD. A PhD in Sport Management, and the Doctor of Nursing Practice, 2 concentrations under that. So we have 3 doctorate level degrees. And then we also offer graduate certificates, which are becoming more and more popular. And these are the graduate certificates we offer right now. And we're always adding more graduate certificates as well. Okay, so now I'm going to pass this on to Dequies, our other Atlanta area recruiter, to tell us a little bit more about the graduate admission requirements. And hold on, Dequies. All right, go ahead. Dequies, you're muted still.
Oh, thank you. Thanks, Jennifer. Um, Thanks. I am getting ready to go into the admissions portion, but before I do, we had a good question that I want to just highlight so that I do not forget. Brian, he asked about full-time graduate level courses, and so I answered him, but I just wanted to be able to say that out loud so others can hear if they're not able to see the chat right now. Um, and so with that, just so you know, if you are concerned with what would be considered full-time status as an online student for the master's programs, that's going to be 2 classes. We go every 9 weeks instead of 16-week semesters. And so within that 9-week time frame, you would take up to 2 classes if you want to. You don't have to, but if you want to be full-time. And then, of course, 1 class will be part-time. And he is using his GI Bill military. And so that was a key question that he wanted answered. So if anybody else needed that information, there you have it. So thank you again, Jennifer, for reviewing our online graduate programs and online learning. At this time, we will be going over the graduate admissions and success tips for making your complete graduate application stellar. We will review graduate admission requirements, types of admission, graduate tuition, how to apply, and finally, our entrance term dates that are coming up. So for entrance into our graduate school, you will need to submit official documents. First, you will submit the graduate application, then request your transcripts from all institutions that you've attended, including transfer credit. All right, your transcripts can be mailed, which usually can take up to 2 weeks, and you'll see the mailing address underneath the little bullet there. You can mail the transcripts to 100 University Park, Troy, Alabama 36082. You also have the option to submit your transcripts electronically, and we usually receive those within 24 or 48 hours. Right now, obviously, due to COVID-19, we are processing everything as fast as we can. So just keep that in mind. But we do highly recommend, due to our current situation, to use the electronic option if you can. Next, you will need to provide official test scores if your program requires test scores. A good bit of our master's degrees have done away with some of those test scores, and then others still require it. So what you can do is just reach out to your recruiter in your area, and they can let you know based on the program of your choosing which one may require test scores. All right. And then those that do require them, most of them will accept either the GRE, the GMAT, or the MAT. And most business programs only accept the GRE or GMAT. So just make sure you're aware of that. You can learn more about each individual test by searching them online. You will also need to sign the electronic graduate acknowledgement form and request a professional letter of recommendation on letterhead. You may upload the letter of recommendation on letterhead into your actual application once it's been submitted. And that's actually a new feature that we just added for your convenience. All right. Okay, so these are the basic items needed for admission into graduate program, which we will discuss each item in depth. Why are test scores necessary and how should you prepare? Where can you find the required GPA for graduate admissions, and how is the GPA for entrance into the program used? What type of letter recommendation should you request, and what should be included in that letter recommendation? Excuse me. If you've already achieved a graduate level degree, you will not need a graduate exam. So basically, if you already are holding a master's degree, that exempts you from taking a test if your program requires it. Some programs offer honors admission if you have a undergraduate GPA of 3.4 or greater, you do not need to submit the graduate exam. This is something also your recruiter can let you know. We have this information in our graduate catalog near the beginning that goes over which programs accept honors admission. Why is the test important? So let's talk about practice and prep for tests. Low test scores may indicate a lack of preparation. We will talk about how to best prepare in just a moment. Also, test scores are important because they look at the competence for the selected level of study. For example, the MCAT will test for medical school, and the LSAT will test for law school. Generally, the GRE and the GMAT are used for business school and education. Most literary, humanities, and social science programs will allow you to take the MAT. Now, don't get the MAT confused with the GMAT. The MAT is the Miller Analogies test, so it is exactly how it sounds. It's an analogies exam. All right. So, which test should you take? If there's a choice of tests, choose the one that best fits you. Take the free online practice exams, and you can find those online once you go to the website for the desired test you're thinking about taking. You can also review prep books like Princeton Review and dedicate time to studying. You can use flashcards also. A lot of times you can find the flashcards in Barnes& and Noble and stores that sell the testing material. Know the options of tests based on the program you choose. What are the differences in the tests other than the area of the chosen study? According to Princeton Review, the GRE consists of analytical, writing, and quantitative, while the GMAT has more quantitative and data analysis questions. So, in short, if you feel that math is not your stronger subject, you might want to take the GRE. If you feel like math is your stronger subject, you may want to take the GMAT. The MAT, or Miller Analogies test, consists of analogy-based questions that are analytical and critical in thinking. The test scores are good for 5 years once the test has been taken. And so let me stop right there. Those of you who may have taken a graduate exam and you've maybe applied to Troy before, but for whatever reason didn't get a chance to pursue at that time. If you've taken the test and it has not been more than 5 years, we should have that on file if you've already sent it to us. So just talk to your recruiter about that. What if your test scores are low? You may qualify for conditional admission. If so, your admission specialist will let you know by sending you a form to acknowledge that you meet conditional admission and that you must maintain a 3.0 or greater the first 9 hours of the program. So again, if you don't have the desired test scores that you would like, but you have, the GPA, you could qualify for conditional admission and vice versa. Here's how you can prepare for your graduate exams. So you will want to visit, again, the online website for the GRE, the GMAT, or the MAT and take the free online practice exam. You may also go to Barnes& and Noble or places like Amazon to get the testing material. You can register for prep courses that usually last over a period of a few weeks. These test prep courses usually guarantee a higher test score. You do usually pay for these prep courses, but they do help you practice in the way that the test will be given once you go to the testing center and take the test. So it does kind of guarantee you to have a better score if you choose to do that. You will also want to note that how high you need to score on the test. Review the admissions information. Find out what score you need for acceptance. This information can be found in our graduate academic catalog. You can also request it from your recruiter to locate this information if you're unable to find it. All right, so is your strength verbal? Choose the MAT. Pending that it's not a business program, you should be able to take the MAT. That's the Miller Analogies test. Is your strength mostly quantitative? Again, the GMAT may be the test for you. And if you are analytical and verbal with some quantitative, you may choose the GRE. Okay. So know the targeted undergraduate GPA. Check the catalog for this information on the Troy website. You can search graduate catalog in the search bar. That's the easiest way to find it. For most graduate programs, a 2.5 on a 3.0 scale, a 4.0 scale is sufficient, or you can have a 3.0 on the last 30 semester hours of your undergraduate transcript. So either 2.5 or 3.0 on the last 30 semester hours will do. If your test score is low, you may meet unconditional admission. We offer both unconditional and conditional admission. Not all programs accept conditional admission, but most of them do. And, again, we just went over a little bit about how conditional admission works, whether the test score is not as high, the GPA may be, or the GPA may be a little bit higher and the test score may not. And so you can kind of balance that out. All right. Sorry, guys. My mouse is flipping here. Okay. And so now we want to go over the letter of recommendation. What type of letter of recommendation do you need? You will need a professional letter of recommendation. Your sources do matter. So who are good sources? Those would be your faculty advisor if you've recently graduated, a previous instructor, or a professional supervisor. So those who haven't been to school in quite some time, you can certainly use a previous supervisor, a current supervisor, or someone on a leadership level within your work environment. Okay. And then you also want to make sure that you do not include certain sources that we consider bad sources. Those are friends, relatives, and spiritual advisors, only because those individuals are not able to attest to your academic ability, and you will want a strong letter that can defend your academic ability. Some programs also frown upon letters from current or former coworkers. So please let coworkers be, sort of a last resort. Try to use a supervisor, a college advisor, or faculty member that, has taught you in a class before or something of that nature. And the strength of the letter does matter as well. So if a recommender can only give a neutral letter, you'll want to skip over that person. Don't ask a faculty member unless you did well in their course so that they can, represent you highly in the letter. You'll want a strong recommendation, someone who can attest to your excellence professionally or academic abilities. What should be included in the letter of recommendation? Provide supplemental material to help the chosen recommender write a noteworthy letter. So these are the types of things you can do to help them, remember who you are if it's been a little bit of time, or to readily have accessible your accomplishments. So you'll want to send over your resume, provide work samples or your cover letter. If feasible, provide high school acknowledgments if you are a recent, high school graduate. If not, provide your well, when I say recent high school graduate, that means that you just recently finished your bachelor's degree. But honestly, it would be better to have any type of college achievements and awards as well, if you made the dean's list and things like that. These items will help your recommender recall your excellence and expertise in his or her letter. By submitting documents to assist with composing a great letter for you, it can truly help you to stand out from a stack of applicants who may just have, not a bad letter, but one that's just kind of general and it doesn't highlight key things about them. So please note you will not need to submit a resume or cover letter to the graduate school unless your program specifically asks for that. This is only to provide to your recommender if they're needing, some support to help write a strong letter for you. And let's see. Okay. And now we mentioned unconditional and conditional admission earlier and, balancing out the GPA and the test score. So here we just give you, accurate terms of what that means. Unconditional is regular admission with no restrictions, and you may be eligible for scholarship opportunities. While conditional admission, not all programs offer conditional admission, but once you complete 9 credit hours once admitted and enrolled with a 3.0 GPA, that conditional status is removed. And also, when you have conditional admission, you may or may not be eligible for a scholarship opportunity. And then there's temporary admission. Again, some programs don't always offer temporary admission, so you can check that with your recruiter. But you must not have been granted temporary term at Troy previously. You must submit all official documents prior to the start of the second term. So basically, this just simply means that you may be able to come in with unofficial documents, but we will have to have the official documents by your second term of attendance. And so now that we've gone over how to complete a full application with a strong letter of recommendation, how to adequately prepare for your test if you have to take a graduate exam, what type of GPA that, generally the graduate school is looking for, you would move on to the application process. And so we have the link there for you. You want to first submit your graduate application with the fee, and you can use the promo code at the end of this webinar. We'll have that on a slide for you. Begin working toward ordering your transcripts and sending those to us. And then after that, you'll want to start working on all the other admission requirements, such as the letter of recommendation and signing the acknowledgement form. If you plan to use FAFSA, you will want to log in to complete that process at the studented.gov website. And then here's a little bit about our tuition. So there's different tuition rates for our on-campus students and online students. One key thing to mention here is that we do not offer out-of-state tuition for online. Online students receive a flat tuition rate no matter where they are located, and that is for graduate students going to be $494 per credit hour, and then our undergraduate students, that's going to be $338 per credit hour. So the rate that you guys will want to pay attention to for graduate studies is the $494 per credit hour, which is about $1482 for one class. And if you're in a fast track program, which is 30 hours, that's generally close to $15,000. It's about $14,800 and some odd dollars, but I generally just say $15,000. And then your textbooks are not included. You would pay for your textbooks separately. And if you're in a program that's not fast track, it's usually 36 hours as opposed to 30. So you would just do the 494 times the 36 hours instead of 30 hours, which I think is about 17,000 instead of the 15. And you guys could just check my math on that. All right, and so here are our important dates that are coming up for Term 5, which will be for this month. The application deadline is here just towards the end of this week on May 15th. And that's not the deadline to turn in everything. That's just the deadline to actually use the promo code at the end of this webinar and submit the application. After that, you can work towards submitting your official documents or unofficials if you have never attended Troy before. Registration begins on April 15th. So we've already kind of rolled into enrollment. So a lot of students have been already registering for classes. And then classes start on May 26th. And then for our August term dates, which is term 1, that's going to be the application deadline is July 21st. And registration begins on May 4th. And then classes start on August 10th. All right, and so everyone that needs the promo code, it is in all caps, GradWeb, GradWeb. That's GradWeb, and I think Jennifer may have already possibly put this there, so forgive me if she has, but I'll just put it there again just in case. So again, make sure you jot this down. This is the moment in the presentation that you absolutely don't want to miss. Because this is where at the end of your application you'll enter the promo code so that you do not miss your application fee waiver. And then I think Alicia would like for me to go to the previous slide, and I think that was the term dates. I certainly can. And so, Miss Alicia, our May dates for term 5, May 15th is the application deadline. Registration started April 15th to enroll. And you still have plenty of time to enroll. Classes begin May 26th. And then those who are entering in August, the application deadline is July 21st. Registration begins May 4th. Classes begin August 10th. Okay.
We don't have them on here. Sorry to break in, Dequies, but
no, absolutely. Go ahead.
Do you want the term 2 or term 3, 4, 5 dates for next year? We can send those to you as well. I don't have them on the top of my head, but term 2 does start in October, and then January is term 3, and March is term
4. Okay, and Amber was asking if we accept. International students, and we do. Okay, and we can connect you with the international office if there's some questions that we can't answer for you. And so back to the GradWeb. Again, I just want to make sure everybody has that. The promo code to submit your application for free is GradWeb. And then your presenters today, Jennifer Vining, Mrs. Jennifer Vining, and her email, readj@troy.edu. And then, of course, her work cell phone number, 678-427-5431. And then our office telephone number is there as well, 770-730-0033. And then myself, your second presenter, Dequies Lanier. My email is D, like Delta, LANIER @troy.edu. And then my phone number is 334-372-0785. Okay, and so now we would truly like to open it up for questions. Feel free to unmute yourselves and ask a question. You can also chat in the chat box if you don't want to mute, can't mute, uncomfortable with that. And I just open the floor back up for Jennifer, and I yield to any of our other recruiters that are on the line as well. So you guys unmute and feel free to speak if you like.
I'm going to go over we have some good questions in the chat box. I just want to.
Okay.
Chris asked if recent graduates of Troy still need to turn in transcripts from Troy. And if you've ever submitted transcripts to Troy, if you graduated from Troy, we'll still have all your transcripts that you've ever submitted to Troy on file. So you would only need to submit transcripts if you've attended different schools since Troy. You will have your Troy transcripts on file, no need to request those, and any previous. Alicia wanted to know if we are waiving any GMAT or GRE requirements due to the COVID pandemic. And we're not waiving them. However, we are offering extended temporary admission. So we're allowing temporary admission for programs that don't usually allow it. That means that you can get in with just your transcript, but you're still required to submit those test scores prior to the start of your second term if you do. So they're not waived for any program. They are existing. And then Alicia wants to know more about the Fast Track program. The Fast Track programs, again, are programs that we're really proud that you can complete in as little as 1 year. And I can go back to the list of the online Fast Track programs. And there was another question, social work, the online social work program is a Fast Track program. So if you take 2 classes per term, which you do not have to take 2 classes per term, but if you took 2 classes per term for any of these programs, then you would be complete in 1 year. So all of these programs are 30 credit hour programs, and you can complete them in as little as 1 year, which also means that their cost is 30 credit hours, which Dequies mentioned was around $15,000 our current tuition. So these are some really great programs that you Alicia, let me know if that answers your question or if you have something more specific.
Yeah, you answered my question. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Thank you.
Okay. I was confused on what's considered, you said per term. So
yes.
What is a per, like, cause
per term. 2 classes every 9 weeks.
So that's like 2 months, kind of, sort of. I mean.
Yeah. So, and I guess we probably should have probably kind of explained that a little bit better. So, for example, our term 1 is from August until about the mid of October. So let's say like October 14th. I'm just going to throw out a date. So August tends to maybe October 14th. That's term 1. Term 2 would start like October 15th to December 18th or so. And then term 3 would be January to the middle of March. And then term 4 would be middle of March to May. And then term 5 would be May to July. So there's 5 terms in 1 year. So every 9 weeks, we roll into a new enrollment. Like basically, it's a semester, but we call it a term because it's only 9 weeks instead of 16-week semester.
Okay.
And so your entrance dates are August, October, January, March, and May. Those are all the times of the year you could enter into a program. Now, there are certain master's programs that only allow entrance in August and January, and the MBA is one of those, for example. The MBA only allows enrollment every August and every January. But most of the other programs are any of those 5 entry dates I just mentioned.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay.
And do you know what's considered? I'm sorry, I didn't get the information. You were stating that you could find out basically what is like the test score that you guys would consider appropriate for the program.
Yes, absolutely. So once you've decided on which program you're interested in, we would connect you with your recruiter. And at that point, your recruiter would send over all the information pertaining to the program you are interested in. And that's going to include, the requirements for the program. And, we can also send over, the link to the academic catalog where you can read everything as well that has, the classes in there listed, what courses there'll be, requirements for the GPA, all of that good jazz.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, Jennifer, I hand it back over to you.
Thank you. Andy wanted to know what the deadline to submit the GRE if it isn't available during the application. And I'm assuming that is like you're not able to choose.
Jen,
right?
you went out just a little bit.
Can you hear me now? There, that should help.
Okay, yes, much better. I got you.
Okay. He wanted to know the deadline to submit the GRE if it isn't available during the application, and I believe that he was referring to it for pandemic reasons, if you're not able to take the GRE. And currently, they're extending temporary admission until your second term, so you'll have to have them in by the start of your second term. However, I think they are going to keep evaluating that, and if they're seeing that people are still having issues taking the test to get it in on time, they'll reevaluate, and it might be extended further, or other measures might be taken at that time.
And then to that point, Jennifer, I'm going to add in the chat box a link to those who may be interested in taking the GRE online because they are offering that option.
Oh, awesome. I did not know.
Everybody who would like to take the GRE, if your program requires it, GRE has offered like at-home testing, and you can visit that link that I just posted in the chat box. And Jennifer, I'll email that to you too, so that you guys can look at their options and see what they're offering there.
And Sylvie, are you still here? Kaylee has a question about MSW, and I know you're more familiar with MSW than I am. Due to the virus, the campus is only letting them apply for online classes. The in-person MSW usually starts in August. The online programs begin in January. Is she going to be able to apply for the MSW for August, even though it's usually only offered in person?
Hey, Jennifer, it's Ed. Sylvie got kicked out, unfortunately.
Gotcha. Okay. Kaylee, I'm not sure on that, so I'll have to get back to you. Unless anybody else knows the answer to that question, I'll have to check on that.
Wait a minute. What's the question, Jennifer? I'm sorry. Due to the virus, is the campus only allowing us to apply to online classes? Oh, this is a main campus question. Is that right?
Yes, it's if that program will be available online since it's usually offered in class in August.
I'm going into the MSW program. Okay. So I know we have the online MSW direct practice. So I know we offer that online, but if you were trying to go to campus, that's a question that will get answered for you. because we, you know, I didn't say this, but Jennifer and I are in Atlanta, Georgia. So we can take note of that question, Kaylee, and I hope I'm answering what you're asking. We will find out for you what may be happening with it if you were planning to attend a campus. So we do offer the MSW online, but we only offer the direct practice online, which simply means that if you would have already had to have your, you know, BSW and all of that prior, and if not, then you could do the 2-year program, but the 2-year program is only on campus. So we'll find out for you.
And then what test score is required for the Masters of Human Resource Management? The GRE or the GMAT is required for MSHRM. There are exemption policies for that as well, but the GRE or GMAT. So you cannot do the MAT for that program.
And then, Kaylee, can you just list in there which campus you were planning to attend for me? Troy campus. Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Hey, ladies, if I'm not mistaken, for the MSHRM, isn't that they have honors admissions for a 3.0 or higher, correct?
Yes.
3.4, isn't it?
Oh, is it? Okay, 3.4.
Well,
Thank you.
honors.
I wasn't sure. I thought it was one of those ones that had honors admissions attached to it.
It does have the exemption, I believe, of the test score at 3.0, but then there's also honors admission at 3.4.
Awesome. Thank you.
No problem. Thanks, Ed.
And I'm putting it in here again. We like to thank you guys. Y'all can keep on putting questions in the chat box, but thank you guys so much for attending. We hope we were able to help answer a lot of your questions today, and feel free to contact us. I could put our contact information back on here. If you do have any other questions, I believe I probably emailed all of you today anyways, but we would love your feedback as well. We always want to do better and see what we're doing right, and so we've put a link to a quick survey you could complete. It really will only take 2 to 3 minutes, so if you haven't already, if you could click on that link, we'd love your feedback. And then if we don't have any other questions, give it 1 more minute. We'll close this out, and I'll send the presentation PowerPoint to everybody. Again, thank you for attending, and if you do have any questions, definitely feel free to reach out.